Welcome to the Corporate Girl Chronicles. I'm Kadisha, your host and fellow corporate warrior, here to bring you insider tips, real world advice, and inspiring stories from the corporate world. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, balancing work life hustle, or looking for your next big move, this space is all about empowering you to succeed with confidence, creativity, and a little bit of sass. So, grab your coffee or tea, put on your power suit, and let's get started.
She got a laptop, she's on the go. Troom, she's running her show. Corporate girl with a dream so high, climbing the ladder, reaching the sky. Corporate girl, making it bright. She working hard, day and night. Power and grace in every move. She got style, she got groove. Corporate girl, take the lead, chasing success, she succeed. Corporate girl, take the lead, chasing success, she succeed. Wow.
So today, my guest is a corporate girl herself. She is a The Queens alumni, class of 2003. She has a BSc in Management Studies, emphasis in marketing. She has a BSc in accounting that she dreads, but I still had to mention she has worked at a few of the major corporate companies here in Jamaica, including Digicel, Fujitsu, and managed a team over in the Bahamas as a sales and marketing manager. She's a Christian, a wife, and a boy mom, my very good friend and confidant, Mrs. Karretta Dunn-Ewart. I'm so happy you're here. How are you feeling?
I tell you that introduction, man. Fancy. I was expecting to hear, my friend, and that's it. But hey, that's
I have tissue, so we have to put it.
Put it on your side. You in the front one. I don't do that.
That's our friendship. So I cry for everything, and I cry to her. So I have to have my tissue here. So my first question is really about your background. Tell me about where you're from and what your childhood was like.
Not of Spanish town.
Take us.
So no, I'm originally, a lot of people don't know this. I'm originally from Kingston. Grew up in tenements, yeah.
Tenements, yeah.
Yeah, girl. This what I'm talking about.
One, three.
Yeah, girl. What do you mean? What you put to no, one heap of house and one heap of neighbor, one heap of nice, and so I grew up with my mom. We grew up in that situation in Kingston, and at about 9 years old, I moved into Spanish Town because my uncle at the time, who was living with my grandma, was migrating, and as such, my mother came in Spanish Town and took over the role of staying with my grandma. So that was at 9. But life before 9, it's like vague to me. But I remember living. I remember exactly where I live. Matter of fact, even while working at Digicel, I went there and I visited.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, that's the situation.
I'm shocked, guys. I didn't know that. So a lot of people are surprised that I grew up in the country, and I think the stigma is that country people chat bad. Yeah. So they expected me to be wagwan, where they make go.
So
yeah. And I grew up in Trelawney, where the stigma is there.
The high accent.
The heavy. No, but we go to good school.
Yeah.
Irrespective of our backgrounds, she grew up in a tenement yard, and I'm a country girl, and you could never tell. When we put on a corporate outfit and stand up in our boardroom, yeah, the English is there.
I think that's what happens a lot of times, and that's why in that eternal song about applying for jobs and your address. It don't do that much justice because my address really doesn't determine who I will be in an environment when I step in. Because remember, we're like monkeys, you know. We can be trained,
Yeah.
and as such, where we're from doesn't. And we can't. We see that every day. We see women that got torn up also out and them people they are grown from cardboard. And when sexy time come, them have them 15 ones.
Yeah.
And they're well spoken and they're well cared for. I mean, where you're from really doesn't determine where you're going. And I think after a while of being exposed and going out into different environments, you know, you catch on. You have to catch on those. You have to get up to.
Yeah.
That's to. And if you see something that where you're coming from, and you know, as young as I was as a child, I knew what I didn't want my outcome to be. Very, very young. So I was able to see what I was. And I tell people this all the time. I never knew I was 14. I was in high school, you know. Never have a clue. Because I was fed. I was they always avoid me branded. My mom, when I was younger, was working at DLG. And I felt too young to know this. Feed or Dido. Yeah,
I don't know.
so yes.
I remember DNG.
DNG had a little feed on the cart, and I would get those free shirts. And I would wear them with my Oshkosh Vegas jumper. Yeah. You don't know these things?
Yes. But once with this snap over here, I think I have one of them. They're banned. Yeah. Oh.
And you know, that's for me, that was, you know, fun as a child. I mean, like funny glasses and stuff, but I didn't know I was 14 when I was in high school.
I think it's the same for me. I was actually mocked. I remember vividly one time when we were living in the country, like some, you know, like you have sleepover on a weekend. And I remember this girl from high school, she had her friends over and was showing them where I was living. And they were laughing, like, oh, I don't know, so she live in our own place or whatever. I was like, at the time, I was just embarrassed about it. But looking back now, growing up in the country was the best thing that happened to me. Regardless of what happened to me throughout my life as a child, but it was the best thing. I mean, no, you're not country.
I don't have a country boy.
You don't have any country to go. But I don't have a country born. On the topic of education, what did you major in or focus in during your studies, whether at high school, college, university level?
That's such a great question. You know why? Because I was having this discussion recently. High school was a blur to me. High school was a blur to me. What I can recall from high school is that I was good at accounts. As such, every class, the teachers would complain to my mother, "I only do accounts in my class." My accounts teacher was like my best friend. In high school, she was amazing. Then I moved into getting a male accounts teacher. Man, the man is immaculate at what he does. So in a high school, I'm gonna be a teacher. Apply to Chartered Teachers College. Get through what I'm going to teach. So when I have to go through the whole subject, I'm going to teach accounts, I'm going to teach POB. Yeah, I've been figured out. Little did I know that I would have hated accounts the way I do now. And as such, my focus changed later on in my life. And then I went back to school and I did marketing because no, I would have spent a few years in sales and started having people, and I'm going to say it this way, people telling me how good I was at it. Like, I'm just doing this to survive. But then I started realizing how easy it was for me to snap out of the regular me talking to somebody versus me convincing somebody to do business with me. I think one of the time I came to realize how good I was at it was when we used to sell digital play. And look here, me never have digital play.
Closer. She was a closer. She had a lot of coffee. Coffee so closer.
Me didn't have flow.
What?
All my years of selling digital play, I had flow. Nobody knew this because I would sell the life out of that digital play. You will be convinced I have digital play. I don't have it. And I think that's the point when I actually confessed to somebody and said, no, digital play. Like, I think it was on TV at the time. I must say, because digital play never in my area at that time. I think it was that time I realized my passion for talking to people, interacting, selling, if you want to call it that, but for me it's really consulting. And as such, that's when the focus kind of shifted in my career. And that wasn't even that long ago.
So we met at Digital, guys, for the person's wondering. And I was crying. That's how we met. I was crying.
Oh.
We can elaborate some more on that because I want to get into the questions here. My other question is because going to high school, I remember I dreaded all the accounts, POB. I have office admin. I think I have a CXC grade 2 in office admin. I dreaded math. I dreaded IT. All of those. I was an art student. The history, the religious education, the theater arts. Yeah, I was that type of person. And I remember in math class, I would ask my math teacher, how will these x plus y equal x squared gonna help in the future? And to date, I'm yet to see it unless I'm doing
I guess it's
something
because of
in
the
statistics. Yeah, in statistics or I'm an engineer or whatever the case is. But I'm yet to use x plus y in my career. So is there anything from your education that has really stuck with you in your career or life?
I guess it depends on which part of my education. High school, not a thing. Don't tell it was a blur. Which is why I feel the way I feel now as a parent and saying to my child, you have to, but we know what that is.
Yeah.
But I think for me, what stuck to me the most out of education wise is what I would have done most recently, which is management studies. One of the things that allowed that to stick to me is the way I've been managed before in the past.
Oh, yes.
I was like, this can't be it. To the point that the way how I was managed in the past, I just thought I would never want to be a manager. But then when you go off into learning what management should be and how you should manage people, and managing is different when you're managing people versus you're managing projects. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I think those parts, the later part of my career where I've done management studies and marketing is what stuck to me the most. And especially with the invention and creation of how social media and all those things can do for you and what it can do for you. I think my most recent management studies marketing is what sticks to me the most.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Let's shift gears a little bit, going to the third gear. For those who know how to drive standard vehicle, I don't think either of us know how to drive standard vehicle.
Standard alone, I tell me I walk.
But tell me about, family. What does family mean to you? Because when I met her, she was all about, even though she was an aggressive salesperson in a good way.
I'm just aggressive.
Very hardworking. And she would often regurgitate, oh, my family, my son, my husband. She's that person. She's that family person. So tell me, what does family mean to you?
Simple. When everything else fails is family. I always think, so there's family in two concepts. The family who you come from and the family that you've created. Two different things, Trust me. Family that most of us come from and the family we are creating.
Yeah.
Day and night, black and white. Because also we would have learned some things and experienced some things from the family we came from and want to kind of correct it with the family that we've created.
Yeah.
So I've learned that you have to separate that part of the family. Family create, family come from. But for me, family is everything. My family that I've created, my husband and I have this little thing that we talk about and say, before everything else, family first. Because when the work stress you, when the life fail you, when everything, a family you have to look for. And for my son, he's a boy mom, and he's a kid that's
so sweet.
Let me say hi. Don't think I deserve sometimes. He
really?
Yeah, you understand me, I'm aggressive one. You know this.
I know that.
So, but God just give one little one where it's mushy and ugly and lovely. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, sweet.
So he kind of pulled me down a level where I have never expected to ever be like the expression and the relationship we have, and him coming home and asking me how's my day, and they never come from that girl. But then I asked me how
But
my day
that's what
was.
he's growing though.
Right.
I think
So
that's what you taught him.
the relationship we've built, I've started depending on it. My husband and I, from time to time, we both have hectic shifts, and most of our conversations will be phone. In the house, we always try to bond as a family, whether through stress, through, me being an aggressive mom or overbearing mom.
Yeah.
But then there's also family, which includes my mom and my sister who migrated, and trying to culminate for us, which is why Christmas is big for us. Where we come together and we do pajamas, something like for like American people.
We have that in common.
Yeah, it's a bigger family.
Great.
So we try to mold that, even though we don't live together all the time. We always try to mold that. It's everything for me. Family is everything for me. When all else fail,
Family. And on the topic of family, the family that you're born into, the one that you created, but there's also that other family, friendships. What does your friendship look like as an adult? Because growing up, we had a lot of friends. We run up and down.
never have none.
Go school
We're
with
cheap friend, cheap.
whatever the scenario was. But now in your adult life, it's like you're grown. You value people. You look at people differently, and you value relationships more. What does your friendships look like now as an adult?
Well, I think it's rougher now as an adult than as a child. I'm an empath, and because of that, I love taking on people's problems.
Always.
When my friend them stress out me, because
Always.
and as such, I have to be careful about my circle and my space, because when I love, girl, I love.
It's genuine.
When I love, I love. And because of that, I like when my friends, just like my family, we okay. We're okay. Like we're in a place where we can empty our belly and we laugh, and we can empty our eyes and we cry.
Yeah.
So because of that, I still have a small circle of friends, but they're not even friend no more. Like sister friend, like we refer to each other as sister friend.
Sister friend.
Because the ones that we have, and it don't even matter. And the weird part is that most of that level of bond and friendship that came into my life, that closeness, is in my corporate years. There's literally 3 persons in my life that I've brought from childhood into adulthood.
I have none.
I have 3.
All of my friends are you, that, adult.
3. And those 3 is because we've lived close in vicinity, grew together, and as such, we're no longer friends, we're sister friends.
Yeah.
And then what I do with my friends is that you are my friend, you're going to know all of my other friends.
Yeah.
We're going to come together at some point, and we're going to interact at some point, and you're going to know them, and they're going to know you. You know what I mean? So for me, that friendship thing is similar to how I do family.
And it's like a little team or a little network.
Look at corporate girlies.
Everybody has something valuable that they bring to the table. So the lawyer did it, the doctor did it, the nurse, the bank person did it, the manager.
Otherwise, what sense it make?
Yeah.
You get all in all, so I have to have the links then in the different areas. But what it also does for you is that it helps you to grow. So you have a friend, and it's not just we're going to dance next week.
Oh, hell no.
It's a friend that you can say, I see something coming up about the IPO. What do you think about that? So your strength is this, my strength is that, and then together we get advice from each other and we grow. Because what does it make sense? I don't know another way.
Yeah, it's perfection, destiny. Alright, and in the middle of all of that, I think what I love and appreciate about you is that God is always at the center of everything. Tell us about
bus driver.
your relationship with God. Because I've recently been baptized, and that you've known me how long? 10 years? 9 years?
My son is 12. So about 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years. I got baptized last year, 2024. And it has been like a roller coaster because they don't get it at the same time.
They don't get it no time soon either.
And she has been a Christian longer than I have been. We were both brought up in Christian homes because I grew up in a Christian home. I was baptized when I was 19 years old and backslide right after. So we know we were brought up on a relationship with God. And being in the corporate space, I think we've learned culture and understood that not everybody believes in God.
I'm telling you, that was a shocker to me, but yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I want to hear from you your relationship with God and having that culture shock experience where you uncover that persons live and don't believe in God.
Well, I could go back to growing up. Me know me have to be a Christian. Me go every church. For who know me, no. So how I grew up was this. And one of my friends too, she can attest. So on Saturdays I go to church with my grandma, she was an Adventist. My mother never used to go to church. If you're growing up, might be where you know parents or grow all that time there. And on Sunday mornings I would have to go to the Catholic church. And that would end at 9. It is too early to go. So then I'd have to go to the Methodist church. So when we tell them about every church, yeah.
What church?
So 3 church in total. 3 different denominations, 3 different preaching. We know we have to go to that church, we know we have to be a Christian.
Okay.
So I got to a point in my life where I stopped going to church. Me confused. Me go everywhere. But I always knew that God existed, in real, praying, the Bible and stuff. So those concepts were rooted in me. Yeah. And that's why when I found out in my, even though you were taught it, when I found out in my corporate year, that people actually not believe not believe in God. I know the one them always say, them not pray, them not go to church. But I mean
real atheist.
Like somebody said to you, you actually believe, say, somebody named God, and you wake up
or
and pray to somebody, and you're like,
come to Jesus moment.
Yeah, I was like, a real come to Jesus moment. Like, come and bring it to Jesus. Maybe tell the Bible. But for me, it's I guess at that point too, I was young in my Christianity. So you hear about the things, but when the reality hits you, say, like how I'm growing up, I said it's still. I guess then you're going to like, so guys, listen, I used to read the Bible, I read about creation story. But for me, God is the center of it all. I can preach a sermon on faith because when you've been through what I have been through.
Oh yeah, she's bigger.
Look here.
How about it and you?
Print and left it. Even though sometimes I'll tell you guys and I will worry still. Let me tell you something. My God don't play about me. So me don't play about him. I am a firm believer. I'm not going to say I'm a firm Christian.
Oh, nobody.
But I'm a firm believer in the Bible, in the teachings, and in walking in the faith. And look here, you see someone say, right off your storm? Let me tell him, right off your storm. Well, I'm not that clown with him. When the cloud rocks up, well, I'm still, because I know what I believe and I know what I stand for. So, I'm a perfect Christian, but I'm a woman of God. Woman of God.
It's a process that we all have to go through and live through.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, as of recently, I hear my pastor said, like, you're still learning.
Of course.
Even up to last night, she was like, we all have those days where she has to be over a sink, listening to a Bible, her new version, over and over and over, one chapter. So, and she's a bishop. So imagine me. I mean, we can't measure each person's faith and Christianity and where they are. That's not up to us. That's up to God. But it's a journey. It's a continuous journey. And I love the fact that you're rooted and grounded in God. I think that is what drew me to you. I respected that and I love that about you. So yeah. So on to the meat of the matter, the nitty gritty, the career journey. That's just the introductory part. So I'm not holding for anything for you. What was your first job?
Oh Jesus, like real job?
What? I don't know if it's real job.
I'm 16 now. So like real job, like.
Tell me about it.
So my first job was with the company that does our birth and registration.
RGD?
RGD.
What did you do? Filing?
Look here. Come closer. I know I could never put up for them someday now. I worked in the genealogical department, where I was responsible for the registrations, the birth, the death. So when the applications came in, you'd process it and look at it, process it through Microsoft Excel.
It's a long time, you know.
Long time, girl. Long time. I'm going to every day go punch number. Put in when the applications came in, you process those and send them because Spanish Town branch does everything for all the branches. So that's my first job. And then in college, that was in high school. So in college, I worked in the accounts department. So summer work, a long time I worked at Albert. That was an eye opener. Amazing team. And I learned a lot there, including that I never wanted to do accounts.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the summer job. I've never had a summer job.
Step it.
Never. I would come to Kingston for summer.
That's all I'm going to come from country.
Yeah, and send out all the applications and never got a job. I remember I would go on many interviews, and I remember going to this company. The other day I saw the lady from the company
that company.
And I didn't. She was like, I don't think you're a consultant.
Oh, Lord. Look at you now.
I was like, wow, interesting. And the other day I saw her, and it was like, whoa, she was in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. But yeah, what was the most challenging part, I would say, of being in the corporate space and finding yourself and
being a woman?
Oh wow.
Being a woman.
Talk to me. That was other questions I had, but I guess you can jump right
being a woman. There's a lot of things we can and cannot do. That's just a fact. I don't try that equalization, man can do, a woman can do thing. I don't try that. I know what I can manage. And I know that some things I can manage when I am alone versus what I can manage when my husband is at home. Right? But being a woman in the space that I work, so there's a few things. I remember my very first sales job, I was a sales and marketing, I was a sales manager at a company that I was told that I'm the worst salesperson.
Somebody told you that?
Yes, girl. And I happily resigned from that job because the mode of operandi in that organization, where they would take people's money and then you'd use that money to fill the order and tell the person, the product will be ready in 2 weeks.
Oh, I've experienced that before. Yeah.
You never sit well with me.
Yeah, I resigned.
Yes. So I was a horrible salesperson, and I never make it, the Michael Jordan moment there, and then Allen Iverson, a two-shot situation. It never dampened my spirit, because I just know that it wasn't, I never feel it. But in terms of the space that I work in, most of my years, the ICT, the telecommunication, I think the hardest part is being a woman. One, you're a woman, nobody not take you serious. They can't sell IT as a woman. They don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You will say something, and the male in the room will say the same thing, and they say, oh, great suggestion.
Yeah, I think you hit it in the deal.
I said that 2 minutes ago. But it's something that I've seen progress, which is good. I've seen transitions where I see where they started even highlighting. This is how you know when it's bad enough. When they start highlighting it and making it a day, women in ICT.
Yeah.
That's how you know that it's bad enough, when they start make a tagline for it. Like they're trying to remind you that, hey, remember that we exist.
Right, Black History Month.
Right? And then you have those moments where a man will not hear anything that comes out of your mouth, but they're just looking at you.
Yeah.
Physique.
They see through your clothes.
I've had moments where I sat with customers who undress me with their eyes.
Yeah, man, I've had those.
And I'm talking about professional meetings.
Yeah, and lock door and take off them wedding band.
So I think being a woman, for me, thus far in my career, the space that I sit in, I'm sure if I was maybe teachers will tell you the same thing, maybe doctors will tell you the same thing, but for me personally, I think as someone in the ICT space, the challenge is being a woman. Sometimes you say it, they don't feel the presence. Or two, sometimes they only take it serious because they look good. They mean business because they look good. Yeah. It sounds like you're well kept or whatever. But for me, I think that's one of the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I've had my fair share. But I think what I'm trying to do now is to focus more on my goals.
Yeah.
I'm seeing where I want to shift that focus on focusing on, they don't respect women because it's obvious they don't respect women in the ICT field. But I have my
use respect. Me just think I'm gonna take it serious. Because when you look at how the world really started in IT, it's a man's world.
Yeah.
Computer, the techie, the guru, the nerd, Now we have some women where write programs, them and this, them and that, that ICT. So I think of the respect. I think of more like, I think of more when them see it as a man's job. Like a plumber, like if you show up on somebody else as a plumber, as a girl. So I think just like you made it landable, that's a barber. So when she started out, nobody never wants to look in her chair. But I think a lot of the roles that exist now, I don't know why we're still doing that in 2025. Them think it's a man's job or a woman's job.
And I think that women are dominating all fields.
Girl, you that's what we're doing.
All things. Whether it's
Prime Minister.
Yeah, at the head. I mean, we had a queen for umpteen years until she died.
Yeah.
So that's shifting, which is good. But like I was saying, I was making reference to, I think I'm more focused, zoning on me.
Yeah.
And what I want to achieve and the
how
goals.
you present you.
Yeah, and how I present me. I remember our former boss used to say, when you go into a meeting, ensure that you are fully abreast of the customer and you lead with your head and not with your physique or your heart. So I think that has been my approach. I walk into a meeting, yes, I'm going to look good. Yes, I'm going to dress up because that's me personally. But best believe, this girl, even if I don't know what you talk about in the meeting, I'm making my notes and you will never know.
No, child.
No.
As you said that, somebody stood out to me. And maybe if I'm describing the person, some people from past career would have known. There's this lady that made me change my outlook on image. She was working at Digital. She was in the time in our HR space. I think she's now at JPS. Grown woman. She was a part of our transformational team. That woman wore a tailored suit that would make you turn your heads. Never tight. It never ugly. She's a well-kept woman. And I've never seen her in her flat shoes. When that woman walks in a room, yeah, man, you know her, man. Yeah, man. When she walks in a room, there's silence. She will come in the lunchroom, and she's not talking, and everybody will just be smiling at her. She currently works at JPS. I don't know if she's still there, but she was at JPS. And when I saw that woman, I used to say to myself, when we get bigger, someone make an entrance.
When they get big.
When we get bigger, when we get bigger, someone make an entrance because she was modest. I don't know nothing about her, but just looking at her, you could say, wow, that woman is respected. Yeah. And that's why I say I want to take it back from the word respected, because sometimes us as women, when we walk into a room, we have to claim the space.
Oh, yes.
The way how we present ourselves. And I think that's what's changing in the ICT space.
I think I have that. I think I'll walk in a room and everybody, outside of the light skin, they look, because I'll dress, it doesn't matter who I'm going to see, whether it's the CIO or the CEO or just a regular person, I'm going to dress the part.
Yeah, man, you have to show up.
Yeah, I always show up and look presentable. Talking about that, let's look at culture. How important is company culture to you, and what do you look for in an organization culture? Because we've had our fair share of culture.
Culture is something in an organization that I stop taking serious.
Yeah?
Yeah. I stop taking it serious because my personal experience has taught me that the company them look big and pretty outside. But when you're going there, look here, form a discombobulation. But guess what? You have to exist in the space still. You still have to go in and be a part. You still have to go in and play your role. And your culture and my culture may be different, but it don't mean that we're not getting profit. It don't mean that we're not showing up. It don't mean that we're not presenting ourselves. Because why I stopped taking culture of a company serious is that no company never tell us you have to shut me around.
Nope. No, the red carpets.
But guess what's important?
Flowers and petals.
It don't matter what that company culture is. It's your brand. that you represent.
You
When
have
you
to wear
step
it well.
in, so even when the fire truck down at the place where you come from and it's a blaze, when you step in that room with that customer,
You have to
you
represent
have to represent you as the brand,
and the company.
as the company,
Mhm.
because the customer don't care.
No.
What is happening down there? They know that you are here now and you're representing. But
Yeah.
they see you as the brand and then they see the company. Which is why sometimes when you leave companies and you call a past customer will still have a relationship with you. Because it's you, they know it's you as the brand that was presented to them.
To this day, I still get
Me
calls.
to my love, up to last week.
Oh, I'm trying to get to so and so down at
Up
so and
to
so. Are
last
you
week.
still down there?
No.
Like, no, but I can give you a number that you
And that's
can
the
call.
thing. There goes another part of your brand. Because instead of saying, oh no, and you just hang up, you're still
no,
trying to help.
Yeah.
Trying to reach out, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a number and say, call this person who will be able to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think culture is very important. Uh,
What is culture to you though?
But
See, what is culture to you? What is a company's culture to you? When a company says that my culture is this, what do they say to you that makes you feel comfortable?
I don't think when you go into an interview for a job, they define what the company culture is.
So you're going to find out after you
So
go in?
I go in and then I find out over time what that culture is. So if it is that over time, I'll be working there and you'll find out the culture over time, I'm gonna say wait. But I'm not this to sign up for.
You know.
So if it directly affects me, I'm going to leave or want to leave. If it doesn't, I'll stay.
Which is why I say I don't take it serious anymore.
So yeah, we can. I think I can agree to disagree on your point when you say you don't take it serious, because if it doesn't directly affect you, then you can ignore it. But if it directly affects me mentally, emotionally, physically, to the point where when I'm going to work, I'm like, Jesus.
But there's a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Americans, a lot of Australians, a lot of people, a lot of humans that go through that every day.
Yeah, and they stick to it. Why?
Them have them responsibility, my love.
Yeah, but you have a choice.
Some of them also think they don't have a choice.
And
Some
that's
people
where,
really think have no choice, you know?
yeah, and that's where
Some people only really think they don't have no choice, because for me, I am big on value. I am big on growth. So me, I will do every little certification, every little course, every little networking. My name, I'm not toot my on. My name has been mentioned in the rooms that I don't exist. So for you, when you're just my coworker, when I like me, I'm gonna say she can't shut to see. But for somebody else, then I say I think she's the perfect candidate.
yeah.
So go back to that culture part. While I was in the Bahamas,
Oh yes, tell us. Do tell
the culture I was sold. When you hear them say, "Oh, we're a family," yeah, you know, all family can live like rat and mouse. And when you go in and you realize that the culture is just toxic,
There you go.
look here. Them not tell us that they're toxic.
No.
So for me, I don't take it serious, meaning I'll do my investigation and my little research on the company and what can work. Because at the end of the day, me just feel like because it may work, now perfect.
Yeah.
If when you have an exist out there while working in a perfect space, tell me apply.
Yeah, please.
Me don't know it. So for me, it's how you approach the situation and what you want to bring to the table, and whether you want to just go and do the work and leave at 5 o'clock, or you just there to make the money, or you are just somebody who is big on what you present. So when you have a pop down shop and the boss run back and stress you, you're gonna get the best customer service.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the best to your customer, but at the end of the day, in our environment where look here, you say, look here, miss, run.
So can be that reason for change as well.
Yeah. So for me, some environments I will go in and I will know that
some are worth it.
some of them have a time plan.
Yes.
You 3 months.
Yep. That's so short. That's right after probation.
You know more than anybody else that I am not loyal to work. I am loyal to. I come in, I do my best at what I'm going to do. If I personally feel like I struggle with this, I'm gonna give myself a little time. I'm gonna take my catch up on the work. I'm never look at this work. But even in the midst of me being frustrated, never give me 120%.
Oh yes, we're gonna complain, but we're gonna do
I don't understand okay, I can't bother.
Yeah. We're on fast. We're on fast. Even when we know set, we get a target and the target didn't come. We're like, Karretta, seriously, this is a target. Yeah, and but month end,